Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network. And now, let's experience the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living.
We need more of that. We do.
All right. Well, I have to tell you today, it's going to sound more like a lesson. Oh no. I even brought the big book. Oh no. Oh, that was good, you guys. I even brought the big book. Whoa! You are into this. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Where do I start here?
With the big book.
The big book. Well, I have that. You'll get that later. In fact, I have a quote in here that I read this again this morning, and I said, what the heck is he saying? So I'm going to read it to you anyway, and then I'm going to interpret it through the big book. But I had to go back and find it. So, all right, so we're talking about co-creation today. And I don't know that we realize, but we co-create all the time. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It doesn't matter what we're thinking. It doesn't matter who we're with, but we're always doing it. But I don't think we know we're doing it. Right? We're just kind of existing. The truth is, we are not at the, I don't know, word I want to use, at the expense of the world. We're not. We're co-creating through us something pretty magnificent, and I call it magic. I said the magic of co-creation. So I thought, well, let me start with definitions, because this is kind of science of mind language. And not everybody understands what it means. So it's important that you first understand what it means, and then I'll talk about how do we use it, okay? So we're going to talk about co-creation first. And I'm sorry it's a little small, but I'll read it also. Co-creation means we are not spectators in life. We're not hanging out just watching what's going on, okay? We're not waiting on God to fix something. Really important. We're not begging the universe for a blessing. No, please, please, please. No, we're not doing that. We're not powerless observers of fate. This is really powerful when you really get this. We are participants. Not just us, but everybody in the whole world is participants. Because Spirit brings the energy, and we bring the intention. I think about a lot of you here who are creators. Brenda, you're one that comes to mind. You create designs and stuff. They created this. Yep. Amazing, okay? So Spirit brings the energy, we bring the intention. The intention was to take something of mine, which had broken, literally broken. I could never use it again. Cut it up and make little tiny pieces. That's what these are. These are little pieces, and then make something for me and surprise me at Christmas.
It was a bowl, right?
It was a bowl. It was a ringing bowl that somebody had hit the wrong way. and it cracked. It just came apart. And I set it under a chair for probably 6 months.
And then I had it for over a year.
Yeah. Didn't know what could...
do
Exactly. I said, just do something with this. See if you can fix it, right? And at Christmas dinner, you guys had it on the wall. And I said, I got to go to the bathroom. And I walked around, and there it was. And oh, my God. And these are all, just so you know, these are gold leaf. Gold and silver leaf on every single one of these. I should do a talk on this. But the point is it's creation. It's co-creating with beginning of nothing, knowing of nothing. So let me get back to this. We bring the intention. The intention is I'm going to make something. Spirit supplies the law. I'll tell you what the law is in a minute. We supply the belief. Because during this time, we can always change our mind, right? We can go, well, I don't really like that nail there. I'm going to put it somewhere else. All right? But Spirit says yes. Doesn't matter what it is. It will say yes. So if we change course, it goes there. If we change course, it goes there. If we go there, there. You get it? It says yes, always. Life says, here it is. So wherever we are, it is there, and it says yes. And we get to co-create whatever we want. And we're at choice the whole time. God does not do life to us. God does life through us. That's what creation is. And that's one of the things that makes this a little bit different than other quote-unquote religions. They think there's something out there giving it to them. We're just saying, yeah, that's true, and it works through you. So you have choices along the way. So that's co-creation. The law. Law is how life says yes. Not yes to what we want, but yes to what we consistently believe, expect, and embody. Now, I'll get into this in a little bit. The law doesn't argue with this. It's not going to say yes or no. It's going to say, okay, sure, whatever, I'll do it. It doesn't correct us. It doesn't stop us. It just says, all right, this is what you're choosing. And it goes, great. So along the way, I'm going to use this as the example. You had a lot of choices to make, right? First, what do I think it might look like? How do I cut these little guys? And the little guys are the darker colors, not the mosaic. What can I contrast it with? How can I make it so Rev Suzette can use this? I'm sure there were so many questions that went through your mind. And so how do I do this? And then I thought this is your art. This is actually the kind of art that you do. But this is so incredible. If you think about it, this is what life's like. It's one nail after another. Ha ha. And I'm going to teach you today how to co-create out of that. How to make those nails something really special. So the thing that I'm emphasizing is that life doesn't happen to us. Okay? We're happening with it. And we have choices along the way. It's everything we think, things we believe. That's why we work on belief systems here, okay? Because if you believe something, then it's going to come back up. It's kind of like, how do I put it? I remember a day when I was really angry. I mean, just so angry. And it was like out of control. And I had to go back through my life and say, what is that? And it was my stepmother. I realized it was my stepmother who hurt me so badly that I was so angry that as a child, that's the only way I could react. And so once I got those two pieces, I came back to, I don't have to be angry anymore. Or I could be angry, but I don't have to be that angry. I don't have to be that mean or whatever it was. So the key here is every choice we make impresses into the law of mind. And when I say law of mind, that's our mind and the universal mind, and sets whatever in motion. So even my choice of saying, I don't want to be like that anymore, now sets something new in motion. Okay? Hi, everybody over there. Hi. You're sitting at the right table. Yeah.
I know it.
Uh-huh. The law doesn't decide our outcome. It reflects our consciousness. Got that? Are you all on the same page? Sound like a lesson? Well, we got more. I'm going to read this to you, but then I want to explain it. It says, when we ask the question honestly, our spirituality matures and our co-creation expands beyond personal outcome to a collective well-being. In other words, when we start questioning how we are, what we believe, what we want to have happen, how we want to create something, we start to mature. And I think that sometimes we forget that it's a spiritual activity of maturity. And then we start to co-create differently. We start to go, well, I can do that. Maybe I can do that. And it's important for you to realize, even if you just take one little part of your life and you kind of dissect it and go, well, I did. And look what happened, is that just use that little part of, because I think that once you can do this once, you can do it all the time. But it's being conscious of being able to do it. It's not about, oh, that was luck. It's more about, yes, that's who I am. So I have a little story. I think that some of you may have heard this story, but it's a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. It's about a drought-stricken village who has an old stone well that once provided water for the whole village. And over time, the rains diminished. Sound like California up until this year. The rains diminished, and eventually there was no water. It was gone. And people just stopped coming to the well to get their water. And other people would say, there's no water left. Others would say, it's not worth the effort to go there. Why should I go there? There's nothing there. And then someone would say, and we all heard this one, someone would say, oh, somebody else will take care of it, right? Oh, somebody else will take care of it. So the well sat unfiltered, no water in it for years and years and years. And then one day, that other person said, you know what? I'm just going to put some water into the well. And so every single day for a long, long time, she just came and she would put 2 gallons in, she put a cup in, but every day she put something in the well. And then people would laugh at her and go, well, what are you doing? You know, you're putting my water into an empty well. And she'd just smile and say, I'm not here for what the well was. I'm here for what it can become. So again, she just kept coming. And over time, the soil underneath started softening, and people went, oh, there's moisture in there. Oh, my goodness. And then a trickle of water came. And then the people thought, you know, maybe I should help a little bit. So people in the village started coming and putting water in the well and doing what they could do to support this well. And then they were repairing the stones, and they brought the water. By the season's end, I get chills when I think about this. By the season's end, the well held water again. It held water again, not because circumstances changed at first, because the consciousness of the village changed. That's how powerful this is, to take something that's dry and make it, you know, ready for consumption again. And this is the one that's hard for you to, I read this again, I went, okay, let me read this again. Ernest Holmes tells us, infinite and immutable, which is unchangeable as the law is, ever present and available as it must be, the potential possibility of all human probability, it must flow through us in order for to manifest for us. In other words, the law did not restore the well. Conscious participation of it. So, and I started reading some of my Ernest Holmes, and I'm like, I understood that back then. I'm not sure I do now. So I have 2 readings, but I think this will kind of put it into the right perspective. It says, when we use our creative imagination in strong faith, we really believe this, it will create for us, out of the one substance, that's the moving through us, whatever we have formed in thought. So whatever our thought is. There will never be an end to any of the eternal verities like truth, love, beauty, and all those words that's up there. There will never be an end to God, nor to any of the attributes which are co-eternal and coexistent with God. If we are wise, we shall cultivate a faith in these realities. This is not a difficult task, but a thrilling experience. You must have had an incredible time creating that. You kept going.
It's interesting how you put it out there, and then it took, I'd say 6 months before I went, I got it.
Yeah.
And then I could just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, 6 months.
But I put effort into thinking about what it could be.
It was the intention.
Right.
Put out intention to create.
Yeah.
What a perfect example. I'm so glad it's here. And then the next part is the one mental law. That's the big mental law in the universe. And where we use it, it becomes our law. In other words, it's personalized. It belongs to us because we have individualized it. You individualized this. It is impossible to plumb the depths of the individual mind because it is not really individual, but individualized. In other words, as we create, we individualize what it is we want to create. And not one person in here has the same idea. You may add to the idea, But we're all different. We're all different. And I'll use something that was given to me this morning by Connie. And this is about her class of having fun. How simple is that, right? But she gave me a whole page of how to have fun. And I went, oh, and I'll just read a little bit of this. This was not in my talk, but now you are. And it's a certificate of the right to play. By this certificate know ye that is a lifetime member in good standings in the Society of Childlike Grown-ups, and is hereby and forever entitled to, and I won't read all of these, walk in the rain, jump in mud puddles, collect rainbows, smell the flowers, blow bubbles, stop along the way, build sandcastles, watch the moon and the stars come out, say hello to everyone, I love that one, go barefoot, go on adventures, sing in the shower. Who sings in the shower here? Anybody? Okay. Sing in the shower. Have a merry heart. Oh, how nice. Merry heart. Read children books. Act silly. Make bubble baths. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, I could read all, it would take 10 minutes for me to do that. Point being is, everybody here has the ability to create. And having fun is part of it. So I'm trying to make this talk fun. So I have 3 things to talk about today. I think I put a slide. Did I make a slide on this? How do we relate to our inner life? How do we relate to ourselves? Do we beat ourselves up, or do we go, oh no, I can do this? Or how do we show up in relationship? What kind of relationship? How do we live beyond ourselves? Because creation isn't just about us. And I'll use Connie as she sits here and just adore her. And she says, how do I create this so people will really get it? They can relax. They can just have some fun. They don't have to be so serious. How do we, so what she's creating isn't just for her, it's for all of us. That's why I want you to come and play. Come have a good time. So divine creation, how do we relate to our inner life? As I said, this creation starts within us. It's something that says, I want to do this, I want to have this, I want to create this. The woman in the well did not deny the reality that the well was empty, right? But she refused to believe that the emptiness was the final truth. She refused to believe that. So she was mirroring something that she really wanted. Now, if we went into quantum physics, there's probably something in there that says her and the whale were in communication. But I'm not going to go there. The point of this is we all have empty wells, right? Like relationships that feel depleted, abused. Anybody have any of those? Yeah, we do. Dreams that have seemed stalled. A body or a spirit, I like this one, the body or a spirit that feels tired. Yesterday, I'm doing fine, I did some weed whacking, and of course, my spasm came back in my back. And I know it, I see it, and I'm doing all these things to fix it. And I just finally got tired and said, I'm just going to take a nap. Now I'm in the middle of writing my talk, and I'm like, I need to stop. So I did. I slept for about an hour and a half in between the dog coming in and make sure I was alive. Seriously, she must have moved that pillow off my head, I can't tell you how many times. But when I got up, I didn't hurt anymore. It's listening to the body and saying, okay, I hear you, I'm going to do something about it. What's important in these matters is that we may believe that nothing can change, like I was like, well, is this really going to help? That's stagnation. That's us going, I don't know that I can do this. Or we choose an intention, a resignation. Okay, I can make something happen here. And so the law will reflect possibilities. So just me taking a little nap for about an hour, hour and a half, my body restored itself. So now I have a new clue how to help myself, right? All right. Ernst Holmes says this. He says, healing and demonstration take place and our minds become attuned to the truth of our being. As I figured that out, I went, oh, why haven't I done that before? Because I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting writing my talk and I nod off. Anybody do that when you're at a computer? Yeah. Thank God my door is closed. They go, what's she doing in there? But we have to rise above, the things that seem to not work. We have to choose living our life when we're discouraged. Anybody had a discouraged thought this week? Yeah. We got to move past that. We can move through that and not be afraid to say, you know what? I'm going to move in the direction. This back thing has been kind of interesting for me because I have been trying to figure out how do I move through this. And so I have like my list. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. Oh, that might work. Oh, that worked. And so I go through my list constantly going, okay, I know I can feel better. I think anybody have any ills in their body? Okay. We have to constantly say, I can do this. Because I truly believe that as we say to ourselves and we say to our body, I'm going to help you, it's going, thank you. Thank you. I believe in you. Find the right thing. So we have to have that good feeling about it. We have to keep moving through it. We can't just stand there and go, oh no, I'm here. I'm not going to do anything about it. So the second point is respectful co-creation with our life. So how do we show up in relationships? The story goes, the woman didn't demand the well to respond. She didn't say, you have to do this. She just entered into a relationship with it, returning again and again and again with water, with care and consistency. So this reflects to us, how do we show up in relationship with other people? I'm really happy that you guys are here today because this is such an important topic. It tells me that you want this information because you have something to do in the world that's bigger than you. It reflects how we have a relationship with our work and being creative. Being creative. Our bodies, I've talked about that. Our communities and the natural world. We have a choice as to what we want to do in all the different areas. We're not just sitting here as I don't exist. Like in the dog fight that I was in, there was a gentleman that just stood there. And I was like stunned as I'm like, my hand's bleeding and I'm pulling this dog off. And I had to yell to him, pull the dog's leg. Pull the dog's leg. Change the way things are happening. And as soon as he did that, they changed. And we got control over it. But it was like, we can't be dead in the world. So how do we do this? We have to stay engaged instead of withdrawing. I have been told at least 10 times, as he walks by, 10 times, do not walk into a dog fight again. And I tend to understand that now in a different way. Listen instead of abandoning the situation. Tend to matters that are in front of us. So if we have something that's complicated, which tends to be, this was extremely complicated. I am positive of that. But when we have something that's really complicated, don't take, in fact, I'll tell you another little story. When I was in my 30s, I worked for a locksmith company. And they wanted me to take a 60-page catalog and make it an industry catalog. It took me 6 months to be unparalyzed with that idea. But what I did is I started on the first page. By the time I was done, it was over 500 pages. I had taken information from many, many, many catalogs so that it became a doctrine that they could actually take out in the field and use. And kept asking other people that were smarter than me about that, is this okay? And it became a standard in that industry. The point being is that I just kept moving forward with it, instead of saying, oh, I can't do this. And after it was done, I think I ended up starting my own business because if I could do that for somebody else, I could do it for myself. So we have to live beyond ourselves. We have to think about the bigger world, opposed to just who we are. And I have some comments around this because I think that it's important, and I'm just going to say this, I think it's important that we understand the world as well we can, but we take what we want and we move it into our own community, our own families, where we can manage it and we can see it and we can do something about it. But these are the comments that I've got around this that I think are really important. How we are being affected is more than just us. Science of mind teaches that consciousness is collective. Our prayers, choices, and actions ripple outward, whether we intend them to or not. Centers for Spiritual Living has a global vision. We envision a world in which we live, grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. You know, sometimes we can't control all that's out there, but we can pray, we can have peace in our families, we can have peace in our communities, we can work together to help each other, we can have a good community like we have here. And all those things have a ripple effect. And I don't know if we think about it that way. I have many, many, many people coming to me about what's going on in the world. And I go back to, what are you doing that you can control? What do you do? You know, if it's money, then give money. You know, if it's encouragement, give encouragement. If it's I'm having fighting with my family, it's like, stop the fighting. It's that simple, because then you know you're having an effect. There's just the world is too crazy right now, so we need to just stay focused on where we can. And I'm happy to talk to anybody later about that too. So one thing is to widen our prayers. You know, how do you like it that we pray up here now, all your prayers? Yeah. It's good, yeah. It's good because, you know, I'm thinking about you. We're all thinking about you. But every single prayer that I give up here has to do, there's always somebody, or maybe many of you, that say pray for our world. That's powerful because I know all of you are wanting that. Soften our judgments. You know, I try not to have judgment here on purpose. Do you like that? Yeah. You can judge me, but not anything else, right? It's important that we're not judging instead of just being open to whatever is, because it is what it is. Judging it then gives us, we have to do something about it. But sometimes, you know, we're faced with situations where it feels like I need to judge, and I find myself just kind of opening up to what is it needs to be said here. Because when we talk or we help somebody or we listen to them, sometimes it's just getting it out. We don't have to judge it. It's just getting it out, and we don't have to fix it. And the last part is making choices with a collective good in mind. So if you get into judgment, go, let me just be here with this. Let me listen. Let me whatever. And what's the good I can create out of this? What can I create out of this that will make a difference for more people or more things? Are you still with me?
I like it.
Okay. So she only gave me 10 minutes. I got 5 to go, all right? I know.
Yep, you do.
So I'm going to plant a seed today. In fact, I don't remember who I was talking to, but it was somebody really important. And I said, I want to plant a seed in you today. And that happened to be, the seed I gave to them was, you are a teacher. And the truth is, all of you are a teacher in one way or the other. So instead of asking why life is responding, I want you to ask, how am I participating? How am I creating something good out of what I see? How am I supporting somebody so they can see the good? So it's looking farther out. There's so much more I could say, but I don't want to. I want you to really be looking for the shifts. Do you know what I mean by a shift? When you're looking for the shift, that means you've moved to the other side. That means you're helping somebody. That means you're widening the breath. You're helping them to create. this was an incredible piece for us. And I'm like so proud to have it behind me. Because this is the symbol, if you don't know what that is, that's a symbol of the creation of anything. God, our stuff into form, moving us into form. This symbol has kind of been lost. And for me to be able to say, no, I'm not losing it. It's like we sing, let there be peace on earth. We're never going to change that song because that's how I believe. And I want you to know that as you go through your stuff, you are like, I can get through this. I can move through this. I can make it better. So shift your awareness. Watch for your awareness shift. And when you get there, just kind of, embellish it a little bit. Go, oh, this feels so much better. So much better. So here's what I want you to be doing this week. I want you to offer a prayer for a place in your community that feels depleted. Or maybe in the world. That's it. Pray for something that you know needs love, needs peace, needs order, needs balance, whatever it is. Can you do that? Yes. Do you know how important that is? Do you realize the importance of that? Because when we do that, we make a change. We are setting in motion. It's like a rock you throw into water. It ripples out. That's the kind of power that you have. That's the power of co-creation. So let me pray this into our week, and we'll bring Victoria and Sylvia back up, wherever you are. Okay. So as we come together this really beautiful day, we come together to co-create with that essence, whether it be God, whether it be Jesus, whether it be spirit, whether it be energy, whatever that word is, we come together to co-create a better world, our own world and the larger world. And so I know today, as we learn, as we expand our awareness of what that means, that we do it with our family, with our children, with our friends, with our neighbors. We open up the communication of love and peace and order and balance, knowing that as we do that, we help another, we change ourselves, and we become more than just hanging out. And so I claim today for everyone that this is who you are today and forever. That Spirit moves through you with ease and with grace and with love in your heart. That you are creating something even incredibly big. And together as a community, we hold the space here for that to ripple out into La Mesa and San Diego and our neighbors and so forth. Because it is good stuff. It's what God says yes to. And as a result of that, we become the yes for our worlds. For that, I am grateful. I release these words into the infinite law of mind in our minds and the universal mind, knowing that it said yes, right here, right now. And join me in saying, and so it is. Amen.